Today I'm going to do a quick review for a game that was featured in the latest Replay Roundtable, Cheetah's Too Cool to Fool on Super Nintendo. Yeah, who doesn't remember this cool flash from the past? He was all over the TV in the 90s, a rad cheetah who wears sunglasses and eats Cheetos. He got a little dark and creepy in the 2000s, but the advertisements were still weirdly effective. Remember those gross Cheeto paws that came out in the early 90s? Well, this appears to be the game they made to market them. Marketing-based video games have been around for as long as I can remember. Would you believe they made a fucking Kool-Aid game on Atari? How about Spot, the old 7-Up mascot? He's been seen in many games, many of which I don't have. Some games were even surprisingly good, like Yonoid and Make Kids on Nintendo. How does Cheetah's Too Cool to Fool rank up against some of these? Well, for one, those games were developed by established companies like Virgin Interactive and Capcom. This was developed by a company called Kaneko, which was famous for, well, a couple Chester Cheetah games on Super Nintendo? The story is simple. Help Chester Cheetah escape from the Four Corners Zoo and asshole zookeeper Mean Gene Eugene by piecing together a motorcycle with parts hidden throughout each level. Oh wait, Four Corners Zoo. I get it, this place is for squares. The level design is as basic as possible. You find a hidden motorcycle part in each stage, and then you just find the exit. I say hidden sarcastically. All the parts are near the end of the stages already, and are a little bit more than a formality to obtain. You can also waste your life and collect all the little plot points in each stage, but there's really little reason to do so. It takes forever to find them all, and often you have to bounce off of enemies to get to them. Often enemies will cockblock you from getting all of them, and they don't respawn. As far as I know, collecting all the points just gives you extra lives. This game is so easy, it should really just be called Chester Cheetah, Too Easy to Give a Shit. There are a few power-ups that you can find in each level, but calling them power-ups is debatable. One is a pair of sunglasses that lets you see some hidden points and life refills. There is a pair of sneakers that lets you wind up and jump long distances. Last, but not least, there is a guitar that, well, fuck, just look at it. Chester just stops the game dead in its tracks to throw down some mad riffs for about 10 seconds. It kills anything that walks into you, but it is way slower than just killing the enemies normally. This has to be right up there with some of the most useless power-ups of all time. The first level has an annoying sewer system, so skip all but one manhole cover where you'll find the motorcycle piece. There is something that I consider a boss in here, but all you really have to do is survive him by standing between his legs before you reach the other side. Maybe Chester is a pacifist. Look, he's stomping right on his head. The second level is where you'll start to notice the ass jumping mechanics. Chester Cheetah jumps like he's on the moon, and it's a real bitch to try to collect everything in this level. Don't even bother. Anyway, you'll have to go find the monkey near the bottom right hand corner of the stage, and you'll need him to collect the motorcycle part later on. Afterwards, go to the top right of the stage and exit the level. You're totally shrewd, dude. Now that you're on a roll, let's rally in the Gator Alley. We've got a grip on some hip handlebars. Man, these puns are so tubular. Anyway, stage 3 is where the game starts having an actual difficulty. These gators can be a bitch to land on, and this Flavor Flav hippo carries you to what has to be the worst power-up location in video game history other than that one fucking pizza in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on NES. I fail to see the point here. There's almost nothing you can do to avoid this guitar, unless maybe you can jump over it. Ducking doesn't seem to help either. As soon as you pick up the guitar, you're fucked. This level will test your patience with the gators that occasionally stop working, and these logs that disappear when you jump towards them. They do have a pattern, but I'm not really the most patient gamer. Towards the end, there's the easiest Turbo Tunnel ripoff you'll ever find, followed by what has to be a developer's joke of a boss fight. Just grab the part and the level is over. Stage 4 is a bitch. You can't see anything, and bats dive in before you have any warning. There are a million health refills though, so it's not too hard to finish. Towards the end, there is a typical minecart area that you'll find in better games like Mario RPG or Donkey Kong Country. This has to be the easiest minecart area in existence. You can beat it by just holding down the entire time. Pretty exciting stuff. The end boss, however, is a real pain in the ass. He constantly throws projectiles, and I'm not exactly sure if there is a real pattern to him. If you can get close enough, early and often, then it's a pretty quick boss fight. This was by far the hardest part in the game. The fifth and final stage is the first thing that actually starts to resemble a competent video game. It's your classic flying level where you'll dodge all sorts of stuff flying at you. The controls here aren't as smooth as you'll find in Gradius, but you're on a giant butterfly, so it's forgivable. It lasts what feels like forever, but I actually enjoyed it. Fairly hard, but lots of fun. The final boss fight of the game has a nice challenge to it. Mean Eugene is flying a combat helicopter and he's hurling missiles right at this cool cat. Fly under the missiles and they'll hit the helicopter. Simple concept and not too hard. Collect the motorcycle key and escape the zoo. Wait a minute. A sequel? They made a sequel to this game? Looks like it's Chester Cheetah's Wild Wild Quest. Maybe we'll review that another day. As for Chester Cheetah's Too Cool to Fool, there really isn't much else to say. It's a mediocre game to market the mediocre cheetah paws, and while it's not broken, it's entirely forgettable. For these reasons, it has earned a whatever score of 2 out of 5 stars.